April 21. Why is that important? Because it's 4, 2, 1. Now, if there was one day in the world that the 2-week grace period that Trump gave Iran to end at, what a coincidence that that exact 2 weeks ends on 4, 2, 1. This April 21, 2026, which is next week. Okay, so silver is a war metal. I'll just state this on the record. There's no way Iran's going to back down. Okay, this is going to go military. And when this happens, wow, do you want to own precious metals? Good afternoon, everybody. Today is April 15th, and we are right in the middle of April as we're heading into the last 2 weeks. These next 2 weeks are going to be historic for what's about to happen. And Andrew and I are going to talk about specifically silver as the war metal. Now, please understand, when you look at what Trump did, he gave them 2 weeks. He gave Iran 2 weeks, which incredibly ends. Those who have listened to me over all the years, you'll know the critical number that the Pope died on, April 21. Why is that important? Because it's 4, 2, 1. Now, if there was one day in the world that the 2-week grace period that Trump gave Iran to end at, what a coincidence that that exact 2 weeks ends on 4, 2, 1. This April 21, 2026, which is next week. Okay, so silver is a war metal. I'll just state this on the record. There's no way Iran's going to back down. Okay, this is going to go military. And when this happens, wow, do you want to own precious metals? So particularly silver. So we're going to talk about silver and gold today. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Bo. It's definitely been a good week for both gold and silver. And I agree with you 100%. This ceasefire has been really good for precious metals. It's given their downward spiral a very, very nice, well-needed reprieve. But I think that, as you just suggested, as we start to head out of the ceasefire and probably into what's going to be more bombing, maybe even boots on the ground, I think that we're not going to see the same thing happen that happened before the ceasefire. I think silver is going to continue its upward run.
Absolutely. You know, I'll state this. I'm just got to say this. April is such an important month. When you go back and you look at what happened last year, it was a turning point with what happened. Specifically, Klaus Schwab resigns, Pope dies, specifically on a date of April 21. This April 21 is 1 year to completion of that time point. And lo and behold, incredibly, we've got a ceasefire agreement ending on that date. You can't make this stuff up. You really can't. And so everything is now pointing to, as I'm saying, this last 2 weeks, it's going to get really, really interesting here. So the markets are going to get extremely volatile. And when that happens, we might see some up and down motion on silver. And then suddenly there's going to be a massive explosion on silver. I'm telling you, we are not getting out of April without the world looking back in May and say how the world changed in April. April is going to be a marker in time that'll go back in history. We're going to know the world, what it was like into April, and then how the world changed as April ended and we stepped into May. And there is that saying as well, Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. That ties into May 1 this year as well, too. So something's about to go down, but we can see the cards right now being laid out with regards to what's happening with Iran, Trump giving them the 2 weeks, that 2 weeks landing on April 21. So the stage is set for all heck to start breaking loose here. April is going to be the pivotal month for humanity. It's incredible because why? Why is Iran not going to back down? Because they're a proxy to the deep state. This has all been about finance and money and global power. Okay, so with that said, like Andrew said, what a blessed time to be alive right now, because we have seen, and we don't need to be correct, but we were, okay? The point I'm making is Andrew and I have spoke about silver going through $100. Everybody thought we were crazy, but yet it happened. And then when it hit $121, it backed off. And that Andrew's saying right now, this is an opportunity of a lifetime who those missed when silver was in the $20 range, $30 range, $40 range. So silver right now, as we speak, is like it's right around $79. And last week when we spoke, I think it was like 75 or 74. So it's starting to creep upwards. And as it's creeping upwards, but if they're still holding it here, and then soon enough, like Andrew was saying, when this thing goes, it's going to jump aggressively vertical. And so with all of that said, this is critical. People always ask Andrew or myself, hey, is it too late to buy metals? And there's such a simple answer to that, Andrew. What is it? If you call up Andrew or any dealer and he says, yes, I can sell you silver, it's not too late.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing is that on January 30th, silver topped out at $121 for 1 ounce. That's what the spot price was. Today, the spot price is about between $79 and $80. That means that there's a more than a $40 difference between what silver costs per ounce today versus where it was less than 3 months ago. So one thing we know is that investments like gold and silver always return to previous price points. They always do. So the only thing we don't know is when it's going to happen. So essentially, by investing in silver today, you're getting it 1/3 off. It's like a 1/3 off sale compared to what it cost at the end of January. And just last week, it was Wednesday of last week, you and I were on another interview, and we talked about exchanging gold to beef up your silver position. And a lot of people that watched the interview did call us and did reach out, did fill out the form, and we've helped them make that exchange. And look what happened. In the last 7 days, silver's been up almost every single day. It was up $4 an ounce yesterday. So it's already paying off for those that have reached out, and it's still worthwhile doing so. It really is. You can get silver now for 2/3 of what it cost less than three months ago. And really, there was more people reaching out to buy silver when it was at an all-time high, but it should be backwards. It should be flipped. There should be more people reaching out now than ever before.
Andrew and I were earlier talking about ratios as well, too. And this is important. Like, why would you prefer? Everybody always considers, man, if I want to get in precious metals, I'm going to buy gold, because everybody in the back of their head always considers gold as the number one metal. Okay, which is true. For years, you always heard the word gold, gold, gold.
Yeah.
But no one really talks about silver. But understand what silver is. It is, as Andrew says, what is good for gold is great for silver. There's another saying about silver is gold on steroids. Okay. So here's a ratio chart, and I want everybody to look. You don't need to understand charts, but Andrew can explain this. When you look at the chart, this chart goes back to last year, the death of the Pope on April 21. It made an exact bottom here, probably in the 80-1 range. Ever since then, you'll see silver has been creeping up with regard to ratio. It hit a ratio, I think it hit a 50-1 ratio right around January, and then it dropped. And as we speak today, it's in the 60 range, as Andrew will tell you in a second. But when you look at this chart, silver is not going to come down. It's going to head up and soon enough explode. So soon enough, gold is going to explode, and then what's silver going to do? So talk about ratios and how silver moves relative to gold, Andrew. Go ahead.
The ratio is so important, and it's something that you don't hear people talk about as much as they should. So to figure out what the gold to silver ratio is, you take the price of gold on any given day, and you look at the price of 1 ounce of silver, and you divide gold by the silver price, and that's how you come up with your ratio. So today the ratio is a little bit over 60-1. So your 60 ounces of silver are equal the value of 1 ounce of gold. Now, I took the $5,500 all-time high for gold in January and divided it by the $121 an ounce all-time high for silver. And at that point, I came up with a 45-1 ratio. That's the lowest that it's been in many years. And the highest that it's been, in my recollection, is 100-1. And that was only around this time last year. In fact, Bo, you and I did a couple interviews about that. We alerted people that the ratio is 100 ounces of silver equals the price of 1 ounce of gold. We talked about how ludicrous that idea was and that it won't be that way forever. And here we are sitting at a 60-to-1 ratio. So that means that at that point, if anyone back around a year ago exchanged 1 ounce of gold for 100 ounces of silver, they've made out like a bandit, because silver has outperformed gold in that time. And we expect silver to do it over the next year and probably over the next year and the next year, because of what you just said. What's good for gold is great for silver. And I've had people say like really, people buy silver? Gold's sexy, but silver isn't. I've heard people say that. It's like silver has industrial uses where gold really doesn't, because gold is so valuable. The thing that it's used most for is jewelry or coinage, or governments use it to store their wealth and hedge against everything else out there. Hedge against a collapse of their currency, or the financial system in general, or even real estate. So with silver, though, it has industrial uses where it's actually consumed. So it's consumed in these big pieces of solar panels. It's used as a conduit. The pieces are so small that silver would have to be $250 an ounce for it to be worth it, for it to be recyclable out of those panels. So every single day that we wake up, there's less available silver than there was the day before. So it actually is becoming scarce, and the value will just continue climbing. So to me, silver is where it's at. A lot of people won't contact us until silver's over $100 an ounce, but they really should be beating down the doors now.
It's a great point Andrew makes. When the ratio hit 100-to-1, what that meant was you could literally have taken 1 ounce of silver to a dealer, and you would have roughly gotten back 100 ounces of silver, which is crazy, because the ratio roughly in ground, meaning when you dig an ounce of gold out of the ground, you approximately get 10 ounces of silver. Some people say 15. Irrelevant. My point is, let's just go with 10-to-1. Those who swapped when it hit 100-to-1, Andrew, they got 90 ounces of silver free. They got 90 ounces free. Let that sink in. When they swapped, and if anybody swapped. Now, as an example, if you swap right now, you're getting about 50. If you swap right now relative to the in-ground ratio, you're roughly getting 50 ounces of silver for free at a 60-to-1 ratio. Let that sink in, okay? Because we're looking at a chart here that's showing that silver bottomed April 21 of 2025. It ran up, like Andrew said, to 45 in end of January, and it's a 60 right now. So silver is still screaming. It's a huge opportunity relative to that price of gold right now. So very important. And then furthermore, when you look at silver and you look at the long-term pattern, look what happened right here. This was in 2011. Silver hit $49.80. Andrew and I categorically said silver is going to break out, and we talked about last year, through 50. No one thought it would happen, but it did. And look how the price accelerated, exploded. But right here in 2011, understand the ratio there hit 30. It hit 30-to-1, okay? Very important that it hit 30-to-1 right there, because right now it's only 60. So as we speak, silver is right around $79. I'll get this video uploaded today. Silver's at 79. The cycle indicates a historic move that's about to happen in our world. Something biblical is about to happen as we head into here, specifically a very interesting date next week of April 21. And then we start a cycle pattern forward, specifically into May, which ends at a very critical time point, the last couple days of April into May 1, May Day. So again, I know many people over the years have reached out to Andrew. Congratulations. Why? Because every one of you are in a great position. Every one of you who bought silver, whether it's from Andrew or anybody, in the past few years, are at least 3 times more than what you paid for. Let that sink in, how cool that is right now, okay? And when it hit 100, You are more than that. And silver, when it breaks out this time, it's going to break out and explode. Let's use the word explode. It's going to explode through $121. And let me tell you, this will start the greatest bull market in human history. Okay. You haven't seen anything yet. It's only about to get going. So we're speaking today, it's at $79. It's soon, potentially here, as we pass through next week, April 21, and then we step into the latter part of April and beginning of May. Historic things are about to manifest. Iran is not going to back down. Okay. Why? Proxy to the deep state. What does that mean? It means specifically their agenda is to bring forth or perpetuate the agenda of Babylon, of Mystery Babylon. It's an enslavement system. So they're not going to back down, neither is Trump. This is going to go military. We're going military at the end of this month, after the 21st, or maybe on that date, or after the 21st into the end of May, and then as May starts. It's going to go military. Silver is a military metal. Every single component that's needed for anything vital in military needs silver. So Andrew was talking about solar panels. Talk about the vitality of silver in a war, okay? Just like the first nuclear bomb, without silver, it would have never been made, okay? So understand, we're going military. U.S. is going to get involved militarily. This is going to tie in directly with the Middle East. It's going to be short-lived, so please do not panic. But yes, it's going to happen. It's going to be short-lived. And when all this happens, boy, are we going to see a price move on silver. It's going to be awesome. And then there's going to be a secondary explosion that's going to rip the roof off of silver like you can't even imagine. So again, I'm telling everybody, this is what the Lord has spoken from a prophetic standpoint. Whether you want to believe or not, it's a choice. But I do have Andrew here. And again, like I've said, Andrew, is it too late to buy silver? And the answer is clearly no, because you can call Andrew or any dealer and still get silver today, okay? And I believe maybe Andrew can expand, but I think that the premiums are still pretty good right now, and you got some pretty awesome availability of things that you can purchase, right, Andrew?
Yeah, everything's available right now. The premiums are almost as low as they can possibly be, which is surprising because the demand is still quite high for silver. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about what you just brought up, being that silver is like an essential metal for combat, for war. Not enough people talk about that. It's actually an irreplaceable component in the modern warfare. It wasn't like that before. Back in World War II, they actually, in 1943, they actually made the pennies out of steel because they needed the copper to make bullets out of. But that's not how the wars are fought now. With the modern warfare, with the drones are powered with silver and zinc batteries, and that silver, once it's used, you never see it again. Okay, it's used in missiles and torpedoes and guidance system. I saw this one video where one of the American jets was being chased by a missile, and actually like was able to avoid the missile long enough to where U.S. could actually shoot down the missile. Well, that missile was working on like thermal technology, which could follow the heat of the jet. And that had silver in it. So not just the stuff that we're using here in the United States, but the stuff that they're using in Iran and in Israel and in Russia and Ukraine, like all of the missiles contain a lot of silver, and that's silver that never reaches the light of day ever again after it's used. Once again, it's being consumed. So there truly is a silver shortage. It doesn't seem like there is because our silver spot price trades on the same spot price as paper silver, which that should never work that way. If right now about 2% of Americans understand the value of precious metals and how it can protect their portfolio, if that were to change from 2% to 10%, that 8% difference of people that are out there investing in physical gold and silver would probably eat up the complete supply of silver coins and bars that exist. What I'm saying is that it wouldn't take much for the physical silver that's available out on the market to invest in today to be gone. And we've even seen instances where a couple of years ago, I think it was maybe 3 years ago, one of the Walmart heirs put $50 million into silver. And they primarily got silver eagles. And I know people that worked on filling that order, and it caused a big problem in the physical silver market. All the premiums went sky high after that. The US Mint was completely sold out of silver eagles. It was just the most amazing thing. And that was only $50 million. And by the way, at that time, silver is about $22, $23 an ounce. So think about how well that person did. They're already a billionaire, and they just tripled their money on a $50 million silver investment. And I'm sure they didn't sell because we know it's going much higher. So silver is available. You can still use your 401k or IRA to own real physical gold and silver. It's not a taxable event when you roll it over. And really, people should reach out to us because we can help people do it. You can take distributions. If you're someone that lives off of your retirement and you take a monthly distribution, we'll show you how to do that within your account. We handle all of it for you. But it's a really great service that we provide people, and many people have doubled, tripled, and a few have even quadrupled their investment since they started working with us, specifically in the last 5 years.
I want to emphasize the importance of what Andrew's saying. Many people out there have 401ks and IRAs. Again, why I want to address this is because every month you'll get a bank statement. They might mail it to you, or you check online, and it has a certain value. Understand what you're looking at are digits. I'm going to repeat that. What you're looking at are digits that you believe to have a value. So you believe those digits have a certain value. And those digits give everybody this fuzzy, warm feeling. They feel all good inside because their 401k is worth X amount. But understand, those digits that give you that warm, fuzzy feeling, they're digits. Okay? They're digits that were created out of thin air. Why am I saying that? Because if you get a precious metals IRA, whether it's silver, whether it's gold, or a combination of, you don't have digits. You have actual metal vaulted in a private security vault. And now your digits that you're looking at represent a hard physical asset that has been money for 5,000 years. Okay, so that's the difference between having a 401k standalone versus a 401k which is based on precious metals or backed by precious metals. So understand the clear distinction between that of what you believe to be value of what true value is. There's so many financial analysts out there. Every one of them are talking about digits. That's it, digits. They're talking about digits, not real money, okay? So if you have zero gold and zero silver, now Andrew and I are not telling you to go swap everything you got into a 401k, into a hard metals, into a precious metals 401k or IRA. We're telling you the difference between the two, okay? And so if you don't own even 1 ounce of silver or any gold, you really don't understand history, because those digits that you're looking at, that you look at every month, those digits historically in 4,000 or 5,000 years, any money that's ever been created by man went to zero. Okay. So 5,000 years of history is telling you that those digits you're looking at in time will go to zero. However, look at the people that were smart and actually listened. What Andrew and I were personally doing, buying precious metals. They are 3 or 4 times in the money right now on their 401ks, on their IRAs. Okay. And again, that's just the 401ks and IRAs. And then many people reach out to Andrew and say, hey, I just want to buy whatever. And Andrew ships it off to them. And this is why I use Andrew, because the man is lightning fast. Beverly Hills Precious Metals is lightning fast, and they will only sell to you what they can literally source and can ship to you in a very, very small window of time. And that's critically important, because when that money leaves your bank account, what you want to arrive at your doorstep or your storage facility in a very small window of time is the real stuff. You don't want to wait weeks upon weeks upon weeks. So talk about that, Andrew. Talk about the fact of how quick delivery is important, and also about the treasury instruments like the eagle is important for America, but like the maple leaf would be important for Canada. And continue with that conversation. Go ahead.
The most popular coin out there has really pretty much since 1986 been the silver eagle. Prior to 1986, if you wanted to buy like 1 ounce of silver, you had to get a bar, like these little silver bars. That's pretty much all that existed. And you can get like 5-ounce bars, 10-ounce silver bars, 100-ounce silver bars. But in 1986, the United States introduced a coin that is worth $1. It's got a $1 face value. You could actually go and spend it at the market, but if you did, they probably wouldn't take it because whoever's the checkout person is wouldn't recognize it as currency. But it is actual currency, but it has 1 ounce of silver in it. And since 1986, it's been the most popular 1-ounce coin that you can get. And the silver eagles are the bellwether for the premiums for all the other coins out there. The US Mint used to sell out of silver eagles every year. Sometimes it would be in the summertime, sometimes it would be after the summer. Some years they've completely sold out around March. And the last time they sold out was about 3 years ago. So last year they almost sold out at the end of the year. They're really getting scarce. Even now, the premiums they used to be $3-4 an ounce over the spot price. Now they're closer to about $15 an ounce over the spot price. And that's not a ripoff. It's that's just what they're going for. So other coins that you can get are like the 1-ounce silver maple leaf. I'm a big fan of the 1-ounce silver Philharmonics. They're beautiful coins we call them sovereign coins or government coins. They're backed by those governments respectively. Yes. And bars are good to have. Oftentimes people will go with a 100-ounce silver bar because a 100-ounce silver bar might cost you less than, say, 100 ounces worth of silver eagles. So this is all information that we'll provide when we do a consultation with people. There are times when having the government coins might be better than the bars and vice versa. There's not a cookie cutter approach to advising people all the way across the board. So if it's in an IRA, I'm a big fan of putting bars in there. Or sometimes there's other partners that we work with that we've actually minted coins for that people will request those coins, like the 2-ounce General Flynn silver coin. We've sold millions of those. And one thing that separates Beverly Hills Precious Metals from a lot of the other gold and silver companies out there is that we don't consider ourselves to be brokers. Okay. A lot of the other firms that you might see on Fox News or that might pop up on your social media accounts, these are brokers. If you send them $100,000, they take your $100,000 and they fulfill that order through a wholesaler, but they never take delivery of the product. They never had it. They just have the wholesaler send it to you directly. With us, we tend to only sell products that we actually have in stock. That's why, Bo, that we can ship so quickly, because we'll buy them, we'll have them stored at our facility in Delaware, or we'll have them stored at another facility in Texas. And then if somebody says, hey, I want to buy 2 boxes of Silver Eagles, then we just send over a shipping request and then they'll ship it for us. But they're in our storage account. Oftentimes we have it here at the company. Now, if somebody says, I want some MS-64 certified Morgan dollars, I'll be very upfront. I'll say, look, I can help you with this. I can get those. We don't have any here. So I'll go ahead and write up the order. I'll sell them to you, but you need to give me about 10 days before I can ship them to you. So in that case is a rare occasion where we would act as a broker, but I think you're always safe going through somebody that actually has the coins in hand. In hand meaning their storage account or at their place of business. Because Bo asked me to talk about the what happens after you send the funds to pay for an invoice. I have some really great clients that are from Tulsa. One gentleman, I've had dinner with him a couple times where I've flown out to Tulsa. We've done dozens of deals. And when he sends me a wire transfer for $10 or $20 or $30,000 worth of silver, he starts calling me 2-3 days later. Andrew, did that ship yet? And I go, let me check. And I go, nope, it's not shipped yet. 2 days later, I go, hey, it normally ships quicker. Everything okay? And this is somebody I've dealt with many times. Now, there's nothing wrong with him. There's nothing wrong with the order. It's just, it's human nature to worry, like, hey, did I make a mistake? So the point is that you still want to deal with somebody that you've dealt with before, because, or somebody that's vouched for by someone that you believe in. And that's why I think that we work as good partners, Bo, because a lot of people out there believe in what you say, and they want somebody that you've dealt with and that you trust to do business with. That's key, especially when silver starts to hit the all-time high again. People are just willing to throw money at just about anything without really doing any due diligence. Well, shows like this are the due diligence for people that are on the sidelines thinking about jumping in.
Two things, Andrew. One thing you missed directly was you actually show your face. Andrew's been jumping on a podcast with me for like 4 or 5 years, literally showing his face. Anybody out there that will jump on podcasts that sell precious metals and actually will expose of who they are and everything about them, everything about Andrew is transparency, period. And the other thing, Andrew, you just brought up, so the two things, and the second thing that you brought up is, when silver gets up to $100 again, it is. The thing about finance or positioning yourself is such a simple concept. Buy low, sell high. Not the opposite. You don't buy high and sell low. Okay? You don't, those that were buying, that didn't listen and were buying silver at $100 plus, those are the ones that are going, did I make a mistake or not, right? Because they're in a little slight negative position by 20 or 30% right now, okay? Versus those that listen forever and were buying at $20, $30, $40, they're all in a massive equity position. So again, all I'm saying is the number one strategy to finance is buy low, sell high. And that also, we can kind of start wrapping it up, but in terms of selling, Andrew, people always say, well, who's going to buy silver at $600 an ounce? Because I'm telling you, it's going to be $600 an ounce. And then it's going to go even higher. So, Andrew, if silver's trading at $600 an ounce, will your company be buying back at $600 if that's the price?
We absolutely will. It's one of the most elementary things about what you're talking about is that the only way that silver could get to $600 an ounce is if somebody's on the other side of that willing to sell it or being willing to buy it. So it takes two. So it's not like I can advertise silver for $1,000 an ounce right now, but if nobody's taking it, then it's not really there. So if it really is, if you're looking on your screen on kitco.com or wherever you get your silver spot prices, if it says 600, then we're buying it based on that price.
Thank you. Because that's such a common, they're going, who would buy silver at 600? And Andrew nailed it. It's buyer and a seller. There's always both. And when that is a price, first off, there's something major going on in the world or that's happened. Okay. So understand when you see that price, know that God moved. Okay. Because it's never going to be 600 without an act of God. And I'll wrap it up right here with regard to understanding time. Okay. The Lord showed me this. I want the viewers to understand, hey, nothing's happening. Let me show you how to count biblically. When you look here on the 5th, Easter Sunday, it's a 8-4-2-1 sequence. 8, you count down to the 14th. And then you start counting fours. Today is the 15th, which ends on this Friday, the 17th. Do you know anybody that's ever talked about the 17th, Andrew?
That would be you, and the 24th as well.
There's this movement called this movement. Okay, there is a movement called this movement. You see what's on the screen, everybody? The point I'm trying to make is this Friday is the 17th. And then it counts down to 1, ending on a 1, April 21, and then the up sequence, the life cycle begins. This is the completion to death cycle ending on April 21, next Tuesday, and is preceded 3 to 4 days earlier by the 17th, Friday. Does something start this Friday that leads to a big event starting on the Tuesday, the 21st? I'm telling you, this cycle is playing out beautifully. Something's about to trigger. We are heading into historic days right in front of us. If you've got gold and silver, awesome. If you've listened to Andrew and I and you positioned yourself, congratulations. And in closing, Andrew, if somebody wants to reach out to you today and get any precious metals or add to their position, how do they find you and how do they reach you? I'm going to put up this little QR code as well so people can use this to get a hold of you. I'll go ahead and scan this QR code if you want to find Andrew, if you have questions. But go ahead, wrap up on Beverly Hills Precious Metals, Andrew.
Yeah, so if you want to reach us, scan that QR code right on your screen, schedule a consultation. Just fill out your name, email address, phone number. Say that you heard about us on Gold Forecast 2020 or Bo Polny sent you. And in the note section, be as detailed as you can. If you're looking to learn more about rolling over your retirement account into a precious metals IRA and have it not be a taxable event, then put that in there and we'll get with you in about 24 hours. But I just wanted to add one thing. The 21st is also when the ceasefire ends. So the ceasefire ends. I think that gold and silver are going to do great right up until that day. And then there's a really good chance that we could blast past $100 an ounce right after that. I mean, it really could happen. Get with us before the 21st because I can tell that's going to be a big day. And Bo and I were talking about it right before this interview, and he'd already had that date set aside for the reasons that he just explained. And then we calculated when the ceasefire ended, and I'm very surprised that it's on that same day. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens next week. But I'm looking even more forward to people reaching out to us because we've helped so many people. We go to events and people stop us, me and Bo and other people that we know, and they say, I'm glad that I took the leap of faith and I invested in gold and silver through Andrew at Beverly Hills Precious Metals because it's paid off. I hear stories by wives that say, I did it against my husband's wishes. He did not like the idea. And now he wants to call you directly because it worked good for me. And now he wants in. That's happened so many times. So I want to hear from even more people. And thank you to all the ones that have reached out. But we're not done. With gold and silver going to blast off very soon again.
Amen. Thank you, Andrew, for being here. I'm just going to wrap it up. Trump is not backing down, and neither is Iran. We're going to see military conflict before month end. And silver and gold are both war metals, but silver is the war metal. So, Andrew, thank you so much for being here. God bless everybody. We'll chat soon. Take care.
Beverly Hills Precious Metals Exchange is a client-focused firm devoted to assisting our clients with precious metals. Our clients range from first-time to serious coin collectors and investors seeking to add precious metals to their investment portfolios. We are not interested in volatile investments, leveraged products, and intangible assets. With rising inflation and the devaluing of the dollar hurting middle-class families, investing in gold and silver ensures protection for your hard-earned money. Save the value of your money today by investing in gold and silver at Beverly Hills Precious Metals.
It started with silence, like heaven took a breath. Then the thunder rolled heavy, and the sky split wide. What we thought would never happen fell before our eyes, but we remained. Not one heart moved, the wind bowed low, the saints stood still. One day was all he needed, one word and the war was done. The wicked vanished like vapor, but the righteous faced the sun. The old world cracked and crumbled, but we stood inside his flame, and we'll never forget when the day came. The children woke in silence, like something shook their name. Their eyes were wide with wonder, but they felt no fear, no shame. The rulers rage and crumble, still shouting as they fell. But evil had no refuge, not in earth or man or hell. And we remained. He called us by name. The earth exhaled and nothing was the same. One day was all he needed. One breath and the storm was still. He broke the chains with silence, and the air itself was filled. The fire fell without burning, and every soul knew his name. Yes, we'll never forget when the day came. We were the ones who remained, not lifted up, but left to stand. Not hidden, but seen. Not crushed, but claimed. The day didn't take us, it revealed us. And now, the harvest begins. One day was all he needed.